If you are building something meaningful but also want to protect your peace, even small tasks can quietly weigh on you. For me, making thumbnails was one of those tasks. Small, but somehow it felt bigger in my head. And I noticed how much energy this little pressure could take. Over time, I learned that simplifying the process not only makes the work easier, but also protects your calm and builds self trust. And in this video, I will walk you through how I create thumbnails in Canva in a way that feels steady, intentional, and gentle. Just a quick note before I begin. This is episode 5 of my YouTube series for beginners. And if you are new here, you can find the full playlist link in the description box below. So coming back to thumbnails, what if a thumbnail could feel simple and gentle instead of feeling heavy? So let's make it feel easy. Often small tasks feel harder in our mind than it should, and making thumbnails is one of those examples. While making thumbnails, we are not sure what draws the attention, and we feel the subtle pressure to be perfect. And this is exactly what happened to me. I spent too long arranging the elements in a thumbnail. And do you know what happened? In spite of spending so many hours on thumbnails, I still felt uncertain about the look before publishing the video. And I noticed that this pattern is quietly draining my energy. So I shifted my mindset. I'm not a professional thumbnail designer. And for me, thumbnails don't need to impress someone. It needs to communicate with them. There should be one clear message at a glance, and let it be enough. So I want you to try this out. Decide what matters most in your thumbnail. Is it the message or the visual? I like to keep such a way that both elements doesn't compete with each other. Something that's simple and easy enough to understand. And you don't need to try out everything at once. Remember, calm progress do matter. So I stopped chasing perfect and built a simple framework instead. So let me show that next. A repeatable framework is kind to your brain and keeps the whole process calm. Now, let's be honest. While designing the thumbnails, when we open the blank canvas, it really feels intimidating because there are too many choices to design. What font to use, what colors to choose, what elements to add there. There are multiple choices to make. So it does nothing but really overwhelms us. And the exact same thing was happening to me until I used the same template twice, usually my face with some text. I noticed that using the same layout made my process of making thumbnails way more easier and less time consuming. So what I do now is before opening Canva, I decide the thumbnail idea and the text that will be there on the thumbnail. And for the text ideas, I do a little brainstorming. Sometimes I also use ChatGPT for this and give a prompt, something like this. Come up with some clickable thumbnail text ideas for insert your video topic here. I also keep 3 to 6 reference thumbnails I love, not necessarily all of my niche, but could be of some different topic too. And I usually save them inside my Notion template so that I can see them everything at once while designing the thumbnail. And by the way, if you want a simple system to plan your videos from idea to upload, I have a free Notion planner linked below in the description box. And after I changed the system of designing my thumbnail, it felt way more easier and simpler than it felt before. And why does that happen is because small choices make designing much more easier because it protects your creative energy, reduces overwhelm, you have to think less, and you get in more flow with your creative process. So here are the things that you could try out to replicate this process. First of all, gather inspirations you like. It could be from your niche or could be from other niches. Decide the layout, thumbnail text, and elements first before you open Canva. And here is a bonus tip. Choose 2 to 3 brand colors if you want a cohesiveness all over your channel. And once you have your layout and inspirations ready, designing the thumbnail in Canva becomes way more calmer and straightforward. So let me show you the steps next. Once I have decided the layout and gathered a little inspiration, the Canva part feels surprisingly simple. It's just about bringing the idea to life. I know while designing the thumbnail, we get tempted to tweak everything, and this way we unnecessarily make simpler things overcomplicated. So here is my step-by-step simple process to design the thumbnail. First of all, I open the thumbnail preset size in Canva, and here is a pro tip for you to click the photos for thumbnails, which is you just need to film a video with all the poses you want in your thumbnail. And then what you can do is simply take the screenshots of the best poses and your photos are ready within no time. So what I do is I first upload my photos to Canva. If needed, then I can remove the background. You can remove the background of your photo in Canva Pro. Then I play with the filters in Canva a little bit and edit the settings a little bit. Usually they are brightness, contrast, saturation, and vibrance. I usually don't change them drastically. I just change them a little, and the settings is different for each photo. Sometimes I use solid color background that gives a very clean look, or sometimes I like to blur the background to make the subject pop. Then I add a short headline text. Choose a font that's clearly readable. Then I usually play with the text effect. Then I adjust the spacing and alignment of the text. And finally, I zoom out to check the readability. And then my thumbnail is ready to export. I export it as PNG format. So here's the mindset shift that helped me to make the process of designing thumbnails way more easier, which is I stop tweaking it when it communicates clearly. And number two is I also prioritize readability of the thumbnail without making it fancy. So stop tweaking it when it feels clear, and remember, simple is enough. With the design in place, there are a few easy reminders that help make it clickable without adding extra pressure. These visual rules will keep your thumbnail clear at a glance, nothing complicated. What we often do to design the best thumbnail we think of, we add too many elements, too many texts, too many designs, too many colors. When there are too many texts, it can get lost in the background. Face or subject of the thumbnail may not be clearly visible. And this way, too many things compete with each other. If you notice a bit, you will notice that our eyes are simply drawn to what's simple, clear enough, not something that looks very fancy, having too many designs, too many colors, too many texts or fonts. So what I simply do is remove the busy background. Either I blur it or I remove the background totally and keep the background solid. I made my brand color palette and I prefer to use only one or two for a single thumbnail design. I tried to make the text immediately readable, even on mobile devices, and I tried to keep it really simple, easy to read by adding no unnecessary element. Over time, I realized after designing so many thumbnails that one of the most important things in thumbnail is that the text should be readable even if it's small, because while designing, mostly we use our PC or tablet. So there the design looks really bigger. So you need to really zoom out and think how your thumbnail will look on a phone where the screen is small. So here are the few things you can try out. The higher the contrast between the text and the background, the better it will look. Before exporting your thumbnail, don't forget to zoom out and see how the text is going to look on smaller screens like a phone. Try to make your text not too long, more than 5 to 6 words, and make sure to choose a font that's readable. There should be one clear focal object or a face in your thumbnail. In different niches, there are generally different styles of the thumbnails. I learned that making the thumbnail simple and honest is still effective. Here you have the low pressure to trick the people to click your video. And finally, it's time to show you a gentle workflow to protect your calm while designing the thumbnails. After trying out multiple things, I learned that batching and routines protect your calm even on busy days. What we often do is we design the thumbnail at the very last, after our editing gets done and just before we think of uploading the video. And this way, thumbnails actually delay the uploads because creative energy feels limited. You have spent all of your energy on the content of your video, filming and editing it. And at the last moment, you try to package it. And this is the exact mistake I did when I started my channel for the first time. Then, after repeating the mistake again and again, eventually I learned that small routines can save my energy. When we have a steady process in place to do something, it feels less pressurizing. So then I tried this. I tried taking batch shot of the photos for multiple thumbnails at once. I also batch made 5 thumbnails at once. And to my surprise, it took significantly lesser time than it would if I did everything individually. So here are the things that you can try out. Give yourself a time slot, like your time block for everything. You don't need hours for this. 45 minutes to an hour is, I think, enough. Then reuse a template you already love. It could be of your own thumbnails or anyone else's. Do not overthink. And then start batch creating the thumbnails within that time slot. And here is a bonus tip for you. Save a few favorite shots of yours. It could be in Canva. I prefer doing that. Or it could be in your devices too. You can reuse these photos anytime in your thumbnails. And this will save a lot of time. And overall, keep it simple, keep it clear. And that's more than enough. I hope this video made designing the thumbnails feel a little simpler and lighter. You don't need to be a designer to make clickable thumbnails. You need clarity, simplicity, and a calm system. And by the way, this was episode 5 of my YouTube series for beginners. If you haven't watched the earlier episodes yet, you can find the full playlist linked below in the description box and go through it step by step. And in the next episode, I will share the key things to do after you upload your video, so you know exactly what to focus on next. And if it's already live by the time you are watching this, you can click the video on your screen. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.